In this video, we're going to be talking about three-point lighting. It is the foundational method of using lights for your video productions or your still image capture. So three-point lighting considers, well, what exactly is a light source? We've got two kinds, incident light and reflective light. The incident light can be simply put as the actual light source, right? The actual thing that is providing the light. Maybe that's the sun, maybe it's the fluorescent lighting in a room, maybe it's a lamp, maybe it's a video monitor or something like that, but that's the incident light. The reflective light is going to be what light remains after the incident light sort of bounces off of something else. So it could be a reflection that's from a mirror or from a window. Light bounces off pretty much everything, right? So reflective light is always going to be present with incident light. We just need to know the difference between those two and how to control either one based on what our needs are. So three-point lighting consists of three different light sources: your key, fill, and backlights. We can break those down a little bit. The key light is going to be your strongest light source. It's going to be that primary light source that you're using to illuminate the subject, whatever that might be. Okay, so we're using the key light as the primary source. We're placing it approximately 45 degrees angle from center, right? So we're creating this sort of imaginary line from camera to subject and then saying, well, the key light should be 45 degrees to the side and most likely up and a 45-degree angle down towards the subject. There's different reasons why we might change the angle. The stronger the angle, the stronger the shadows that you're going to create are, right? So you're going to create some contrast if you increase that angle from your center line. Similarly, the angle up or down from the subject is going to present shadows on your eyes or other facial features and other things. So important to consider what angles you're going for based on the amount of contrast that you're looking for in your images and how much you want to separate it from the background. But just know that we refer to that primary light source as the key light. Then the fill light is going to be used on the opposite side of that imaginary line from your key light to soften a subject a little bit and sort of dial back the contrast that might have been created from that first key light. So we're reducing the power of the shadows in the shot and sort of controlling things. So think of it as a secondary light source that we're using to fill in the gaps that are caused by the key light. Now, there might be different circumstances where you really want a lot of contrast. So we may or may not use a fill light at all. We'll probably use it a little bit to dial back the shadows, soften it a little bit, but we still want to have a lot of contrast. So we'd have wide angles and we'd have less fill light than our primary key light. And backlight, what it does is it's going to, one, create an outline of your subject and help sort of separate your subject from the background or whatever else is back there. And it might create a 3D experience, so to speak. It also can be useful in situations where you're looking for anonymity for your subject. Like I always think of investigative reporting or something like that, or if you, a witness protection sort of thing where you see the outline of a person, but you can't actually recognize any facial features or anything like that. You're going to achieve those results by having backlight. So it's going to help you, one, to create an outline of the subject and potentially sort of like add this depth between your subject and whatever's in the background, but it could also be used creatively to create a silhouette effect. So just some things to keep in mind as we add three-point lighting technique to our arsenal of tricks for our videos and our still images. You might want to start by killing the house lights in whatever environment you're in. So whatever light you have control over to begin with, let's go ahead and turn everything off that we can and build up from scratch using a key light and then the fill, and then deciding if whether or not we need to bring in some of those house lights, the things that were available before we brought in our own equipment. Use the natural light to your advantage if it's at all possible. You want to be able to have as much control over a situation. Now, you're not always going to have that opportunity, but oftentimes natural light can provide you with the best sort of color balance. So we can use that if it's at all possible, or maybe we want to just have more control over it. So it's really kind of like up to the individual circumstance how we're going to use natural light. Please, please, can never stress this enough. Every time you adjust lighting, every time you adjust your camera angle, exposure, anything, you always want to white balance again before you get started filming anything, because we want to have consistency for all of these different shots and all of the different settings and locations that you're in. So please don't forget to white balance. Those are the basics of 3-point lighting. The best way to really fine-tune your grasp of 3-point lighting and to achieve some particular results, you just got to try it out.